What is going on, guys? Alright, so today I am actually going to be playing as Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is actually one of the biggest countries in Central Asia, and it is actually the largest landlocked nation in the world. Wow, looks like we have really bad relations with France and Germany. However, we do have neutral relations with United Kingdom. However, the United States actually loves us. We do have amazing relations with Russia and China too. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on pause. Alright, so today we're going to be playing as Kazakhstan. Let's go ahead and go to taxation. Let's go ahead and see our tax measures. Second, Philip, get out of here. God, I hate you, Philip. Damn it. Just kidding, I love you. I am actually going to increase the value added tax to 16.7%. Oh, damn, we have our Communist Brotherhood party against it. Creating a rift in Parliament. Citizens' Republican movement is actually for it, while our Communist Brotherhood is against it. Oh, the Grand Communist Party. Okay, that's good. It's like we're not as communist. Two communist parties. I wonder which one's going to win. Imagine just trying to pick between a communist party and a communist party. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that bill. Let's go ahead and check our debt situation. 26 billion, 27 billion. Not too much that we can spend. However, I'm going to subsidize all sectors by $1 million. Okay, I'm going to subsidize them by $2 million. Alright, that's good. Should get a little bit of approval for subsidizing agriculture. However, we did get a little bit of hate because of that. We have 15% inflation. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Let's go to taxation. Let's go to change the level of tax investigation. Let's go ahead and see how this is going to fare out. 54. Let's go ahead and add it to a reform that we can actually get. Free helicopter rides for all members of the Communist Party. Alright, so let's go ahead and name this reform. Let's call it the inflationary. Called the inflationary reform. So we're going to change it to frequent and very repressive tax investigation, and then we're going to add let's go ahead and try to see Parliament's position on that. The communists actually like that, so let's go ahead and get that into the reform. And we got that passed. Barely. We can go forth by continuing with oh wow, we have a huge 10% flat tax. I think I would actually be able to get away if I wanted to tax the rich. Yeah, definitely. Inflationary reform. Alright, look at that. Taxing the rich really got us away with that.
We have subdued the rebel movement.
Oh, whoa. That was a quick riot. How many cops do we have in Astana? Job for growth, beneficial popularity, Forces are with you. And space research. We actually do have an active space program, so that is good. We can partner with Russia on a lot of things. Terminal freedom of information, under state control, and propaganda. 30%, that would cost $100 million. Let's go ahead and get to where this thing actually passes. Guys, if you actually have not, go and watch the People's Republic of China. That is actually going to be my new series as of now. It is a very interesting series, and I'm really excited for it. Other than that, current events, honestly, I've actually seen a lot of... there's actually been a school shooting in my state. Unfortunately, the reason behind this is still unknown. But again, it is another school shooting in the United States. This also brings back the discussion of gun control. President Trump has actually commented on the situation and said that this needs to stop. And so we may be seeing solid action by the President of the United States. However, this is still unknown. And speaking of the United States, I'm actually going to invite the President of the United States to... We're actually going to call for a meeting. I don't know if it's a summit or if it's a general meeting or if they come to you or something like that. I don't know. Meeting canceled? God damn it.
Domestic affairs currently take priority over foreign affairs.
Domestic affairs certainly take priority over foreign affairs. Yeah, totally. Greater funding, education, that's educational work. It's a culture problem, not a gun problem. What do you mean by that? Let's go ahead and give more funding to supervision and guidance for our students. $350 processing and government of welfare dependency, and increases in the staff and research field. Let's go to research. Wow, we actually really do not have a big research field. Let's go ahead and give that max. All idiots. With you to the death.
Business leaders are currently marching through the city relatively calmly without breaching the peace. The press has come en masse to cover the events, and the business leaders who are best known for their hostility towards you are delighted in denouncing the bankruptcy of the country and calling for the compulsory liquidation of the government.
Jesus. Alright, the reform was adopted by Parliament. Not enough staff. Let's go ahead and announce for more freedoms. Free multi-party system. Mixed and limited funding, I'm actually going to keep it as that. Term of office budget capped. Budget ceiling by term of office until 2022. $22 million. That's as much money as we can raise at all. Current budget, we have $16 million, so we can only raise $22 million. That is unfortunate. Corporate donations, 0, and fundraisers, 0. Expenditures, term of office budget capped. I don't know where that's supposed to be capped. Maybe you can spend as much as we can. Cyber protection, vested cyber protection. Let's go ahead and give $50,000 to... Actually, let's go ahead and give $250,000, $250,000, $250,000. into cyber protection. Alright, so here's Parliament, and here's the vote in the last election. Citizens Republican Movement actually got... Oh, so it's 100 seats, so it's like completely proportional. Number of supporters, we have 11 million supporters out of 18 million, so that is a very good number. Our deficit is actually going down without us actually
Business leaders are currently marching through the city relatively
processing government policy, welfare dependency, 350 people in the streets of Astana. Alright, so new political family, extreme poverty.
This is very bad news in the current situation, which is already very difficult for our fellow countrymen, as we acknowledge. The stock markets are empty, and people are struggling to pay bills.
Yeah, I wonder what our stock market looks like. Kids aren't taught to respect human life. Everything we do as America has been to absolute extreme, no oversensitization of our society. Are you playing the United States? Does it look like I'm playing the United States, my dude? I don't think this looks like the United States. American Gamer, do you even do you even live in the United States? Because, I mean, my school, I think that's misleading to say that kids are not taught to respect human life, because I think like 99% of kids today, if you can go out and ask anyone, say, hey, like, do you respect human life, they would always say yes. It's a mental health problem, honestly, because like I don't even think it's a gun issue, like and if you really want to ban a gun, like it's the type of bullet, honestly. Like, banning the gun isn't going to do anything. Like, if you really want to stop the bullet from doing what it can, you want to ban the bullet. So you want to ban the 5.56, you want to ban the 7.62, you want to ban those kind of ammunition. You want to go after the ammunition. You don't want to go after the gun. It basically makes the gun useless. Let's see what our debt situation looks like. We owe $6.2 billion to France. The second most we actually owe to the United States, which is actually, they have a very low interest rate on us. How long has the Second Amendment been in force? Ever since, let's go ahead and look at that. Second Amendment of the United States. It was revised in 1992, apparently. $1789. It's been in force ever since 1789. 99% of people care about. You still have, yeah, I mean, exactly. You have that like small amount of people that don't care about life. So, you know, it's not something you can stop. And even from what I saw on the internet earlier, I mean, it's like, okay, so the average amount of people that die from gun violence, quote-unquote violence, each year is 30,000. 33,000 is the exact number that I saw. 33,207. Okay, so you got 30,000 people that are dying each year from, Jesus Christ, 23% of our budget is going to debt. We'll look at that in a second. Okay, so you got 30,000 people dying each year from gun violence. 20,000 of that, 20,000 people out of 30,000 is coming from suicide. It's coming from suicide, okay? And the media wants to try to make it look like that the 30,000 people is literally people killing people. No, it's people killing themselves. 67% of the 30,000 people is people dying from killing themselves. Okay, and then you got another 10,000 people that are dying from actual gun violence. However, let me go ahead and get this actually pulled up because I had this up. Okay, so every year there are about 30,000, close to 0.009% of the population gun-related deaths in the United States. And this was actually posted in, let me look, 2016. So this is what someone said. Okay, and my source is Quora. This is may or may not be a source that you may think is well, it does say the guy is a former industrial hygienist at Lockheed Martin, 1988 to 2010. So this is my source. This is what he says. If it's bad news, it's big news. A big fire, a building falls down, a horse gets trapped in a hole, there's a multiple car crash that makes it on national news showing a pile of cars. But it's good news, there's no news. 2 people married 60 years, a man retiring after working in the same company for 50 years, completion of a new school with advanced facilities, a SEAL class with no dropouts. And so, keep going down. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. There are about 30,000 gun-related deaths per year on average by firearms, and this number is not disputed. The U.S. population is 324,059,091 as of June 22nd, 2016. This is about 2 years old. Do the math, that is 0.009257% of the population that dies from gun-related actions each year. Statistically speaking, this is insignificant. I'm checking the chat real quick. Yeah, I'll privatize all the sectors. Okay. To put them into perspective, this is what it looks like. 65% of those deaths are by suicide, which would never be prevented by gun laws. 15% are by law enforcement in the line of duty and justified. 17% are through criminal activity and gang violence, gang and drug-related activity, or mentally ill persons, better known as gun violence. 3% are accidental discharges. So technically, gun violence is not 30,000 annually, but it drops down to 5,100. Still too many? Now let's look at how many of those deaths span across the nation. Okay, so, and then this is the other thing that you see from this. You see all these things, but you're not accounting for the cities. 480 homicides, or 9.42% of that 5,100 were in Chicago. 344 homicides were in Baltimore. 333 homicides were in Detroit. 119 homicides were in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. So basically, 25% of all gun crime happens in just 4 cities. All of those 4 cities have strict gun laws, and that is a very true statement. They have very, very strict gun laws, and they think that doing that is literally going to stop gun violence when it's not. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and come over here. I'm going to go ahead and check to see what we can actually privatize. Everything is already privatized in there. Let's come over here. Building, housing, and roadway. I'm actually going to keep that nationalized because we do not have a need for nationalizing it. Cement, same thing. Chemicals, same thing. Steel. Don't think I can really nationalize anything because it would probably hurt. Or I can probably try to see if I can nationalize or privatize cement. Let's go ahead and go total privatization. If America did more education on guns, there would be better gun control, and also it would help if they did background checks on anyone buying guns. Okay, Robert, I want to ask you something really... I want to ask you this. Do you live in the United States? Do you live in the United States? And if you do live in the United States, have you ever gone to buy a gun? Have you ever tried to buy a gun if you actually live in the United States? I want you to answer me that. Because people make it look like that it's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to buy a gun in the United States. It's not. It's not. And even whenever you want to buy a gun such as an AR-15 or something like that, the gun that they make look like is big and scary, like it's even harder to buy a gun like that. And you think gun companies like don't want to change those things. Okay, Robert, how can you really say that America should do more education on guns and do background checks whenever you don't even live in the United States? Why are you saying that when, like, you've never had that experience? I'm not trying to call you out or anything like that. Okay, I kind of am calling you out. At the same time, I'm not trying to be an asshole or whatever. Like, how can you say that stuff like that whenever you've never even lived here? Like, because you go into a gun shop, they don't just give you the gun. You have to go through a background check. They have to make sure that you're not a federal criminal. Because if you have a felony on your record, you're not allowed to get a gun. That right is taken away from you in the United States. If you, whenever you go in to buy a gun, any kind of gun, by the way, an AR can leave that day, but with a pistol, handgun takes 3 days. Okay, but still, you still have to go through a background check, and they still have to make sure that you are, for one, who you are, and two, they have to make sure that you are a law-abiding citizen, and three, like, they just want to make sure that like everything is correct. And the AR American Gamer, what state do you actually live in? Because it varies from state to state. Because again, like I think we all know this, the United States is not a central government. Not every law passed is something like that. And I think that's one of the problems about what everyone has a problem with Donald Trump, is that they want him to do something on a federal level whenever he's more of a state believer. He wants the states to make the decision. Yes, I know I wasn't trying to argue. I am pro-gun. Well, I mean, yeah, I was just asking what... Okay, you live in Florida. So, let me check Florida's gun laws, actually. So you're in a state that... NRA teens can't anonymously challenge Florida gun laws. Okay, so we have reports. Okay, Florida gun laws, state laws. Okay, Florida is a stand your ground law. Is a stand your ground state. Case of George Zimmerman's fatal shooting in Trayvon Martin and thrusted new law into the international stage. The law was the first of its kind to remove the duty to retreat before using force in self-defense. And then they also have the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. Douglas High Act. It was named for the blah, blah, blah. Okay, the legislation provides several changes to Florida's gun laws. Although it doesn't ban assault weapons or high-capacity magazines, it does outright ban bump fire stocks, a device that makes semi-automatic rifles fire like automatic ones. Additionally, the law extends mental health services, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so nothing really big on gun laws. Sorry if I sound like a bit stupid. I know they do background checks on people. I just think there should be more control and education on gun control. Well, yeah, the thing is, like, you have, like, if you really want stuff like that, it's getting to a point to where you're literally like, guns are bad, we shouldn't have guns, because it's gonna get to the point to where like you realize, oh, well, guns can kill people. Well, why do we need guns? It's just like, it's not supposed to be in a place like, well, I'm not trying to sit here and say that we need guns. Okay, look to Switzerland. What are you talking about Switzerland for? If you're going to talk about the saying that Switzerland has, like, you know, guns everywhere and stuff like that, that's a lie, because I've seen that meme before. Okay, so I want to give more money to public safety. Fight against illegal immigration. I'm going to go ahead and fund that a little more. And I'm going to hire 70,000. Ooh, $100 million. That's a hefty cost. Gun laws. Well, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, can you give me an example? See what kind of law we can change in police. Speaking of that, where is justice? Let's go to legislation. Legislation on arms sales. Let's see if we can ban the sale and possession of firearms. I've seen articles and research on it. Guns due to conscription, not really due to want of ownership. Yeah, exactly. Philip is completely right. Polls results. Okay, so actually I can ban the sale and possession of firearms. I'm going to do a TV address, and I'm going to pass the New Year's and become stricter. I'm going to go ahead and ban guns in Kazakhstan. Philip's going to kick my ass. He's probably going to stop donating to me on Patreon.
If I'm proposing to strengthen legislation on arms sales, it is, of course, to avoid tragic events, shootings, and other bloody score-settling actions which traumatize our society on a daily basis. In a state under the rule of law, it is up to the police and the justice system to maintain order and apply appropriate punishment. My fellow citizens, I trust your common sense.
I should actually play the United States and ban guns. That should actually be a goal. Uh-oh. We got national protests. Citizens Republican Movement. 10,000 people are out in protest to protest welfare dependency instead of, you know, the banning of guns.
Demonstrators intend to send a powerful signal of their opposition to the government. Up until now, we have no serious incidents to report. The processions...
Only 10,000 people. Parliament is a complete support of banning guns. I'm gonna play the United States and ban guns. That's gonna, like, I can, like, go to the midterms and let the Democrats take control. Or I can just try to do, I wish there was a way to do executive action. Like, if you can't get something passed, like, you can, like, go around can't post the article. I don't know how to do that. I can probably do it next time. You can probably go to my Twitter, American Gamer. Go to my Twitter and at me. My Twitter handle is at PoliticsGaming. So, did you ask Everson the stuff? No, I'm actually going to do that after this live stream. Switzerland has a stunningly high rate of gun ownership. Here's why it doesn't have mass shootings. Article by Business Insider. Okay, I'm going to look this up. Countries by gun ownership. Shit. Gun violence. Okay, gun ownership. So let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, according to Wikipedia, this is the source. The United States has, and this is according to the gun policy from 2000. Okay, this is from 2007. According to 2007, the world guns per 100 residents is 10.2. However, in the United States, we have the most gun ownership, which is 101 to every 100 residents. As of 2009, there were roughly twice as many guns per capita in the United States as there were in 1968. More than 300 million guns overall. 50% of guns are owned by 3%. Wow, 50% of guns are owned by 3% of the population. Okay, and then we have Serbia, which is 58 per 100. Yemen, 54.8. Cyprus, 36.4. Saudi Arabia, 35. Iraq, 34. Uruguay, 31. And Norway, 31. So Switzerland, on the other hand, comes in at number 18 in the world, which is 24.45 guns for every 100 residents. So, trying to shit their shit to play as in GPS 4 because it is insane to try to keep all of their stuff balanced. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty balanced, and then you try to do it. And so instead of doing guns, actually, let's actually... Oh, we already have national service. However, I will actually increase it by a month. Young men old enough to serve in the armed forces of the country. The conscription is the most efficient method to levy a large army. On the other hand, armies of conscripts, often slow to deploy, may present huge efficiency issues if compared to professional armies. Yeah, they keep their guns because of conscription. If you ended conscription, you would not have people having said guns because they would not be issued them. It's not like the US where you go buy them. Smart, smart, smart. I'm not talking guns, but more of the mass shootings. To be honest, and I know people may not like me saying this, mass shootings are gonna happen. You can try to stop them. You can affect the number at which they come. You can try to stop them, but they're gonna happen. Like, you can just as easily walk into a grocery store with a 9mm and kill the same amount of people that died at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas or the school in outside of Houston. Like, let's see the news on what's going on in Texas right now, because this is actually my state. Okay, oh my god. Okay, guys, listen to this. Listen to this. The guy in Texas did not even use a semi-automatic rifle. He used a shotgun and a .38 revolver. This is huge. This is huge. Because this is a deadly mass shooting in which, okay, look, 10 people have been killed at Texas's Santa Fe High School outside of Houston. Okay, so that many people died. And the gunman used a shotgun and a .38 revolver. I'm going to go ahead and check this news to see what kind of shotgun he used. Okay, he used a shotgun. Suspect wanted to take his own life after shooting, Texas governor says. Texas suspect. Okay, so they did find the guy. Oh, he actually has a YouTube. He went to Santa Fe High School. His name, I'm not gonna say his name, but they have a. Okay, well, they probably. Okay, you know what? Until they actually officially like say that he was the gunman. Okay, so this is what's going on. Yeah, they actually identified him. His name was Demetrios Pagortzis. is a suspect, federal law enforcement officials tell CNN, and confirmed to the Houston Chronicle by the Galveston County Sheriff's Office. March for Our Lives has already commented on it. They have said, we are deeply saddened by the tragedy at Santa Fe High School and send our love and support to the families affected by as well. Though this is the 22nd school shooting this year. Okay, that is a lie, and I'm going to tell you guys how that is a lie. We urgently send those reading this not to sweep it under the rug and forget this is not the price of our freedom. This is the most fatal shooting since the one at our school, and the tragedies like this will continue to happen unless action is taken. Santa Fe, we are with you, and we will do whatever we can to support you as the days go on. Okay. Nancy Pelosi calls for a vote to prevent gun violence now. Second person in custody and thought to be possible accomplice. Wow. Texas mayor slams Congress. Spare us your thoughts and prayers and do your job. Okay. So there's no... Neither of these weapons were owned or legally possessed by the shooter. Noting instead they were legally owned by the father of the shooter. I have no information if the father was aware that his son had taken his weapons. And that is by the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. Okay, so this is the thing, is that he just committed the deadliest mass shooting in American history. There's a new update. He just committed the deadliest mass shooting since Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. With a shotgun and a .38 revolver. Do you really think that it's a semi-automatic weapon issue? Because it's not. It literally just proved my point. And I'm not laughing, by the way. Like, it literally just proved my point that, like, the gun is not the issue. It's the mental health problem. You can, like, even before I saw that, I was literally saying, like, that you can literally go in there with a 9mm and kill the same amount of people in a grocery store that died at Santa Fe High School and Marjory Stoneman Douglas. And I think it's actually happened before. Like, I think there was a shooting back in the 90s where this guy crashed his car into a supermarket, into a cafeteria at a supermarket, and got out and shot and killed 20 people with, like, some sort of rifle. I think it was a pistol or a rifle. And that was the Luby shooting. So, you know, guns, it's not going to stop it. Banning the gun isn't going to stop it. And this literally just proved the point. Because he just killed 10 people, 10 plus people, with a shotgun and a .38 revolver. So, that is just astonishing. And honestly, it surprised me. Because they kept on making it look like that it was a... no, it wasn't a McDonald's... Oh, I know what you're talking about. There was a McDonald's shooting back in the 90s, too. Let me look that up. Okay, so this... McDonald's shooting. Oh, yeah, that was a... No, it was in 1984. Okay, so let's look at this one. This was the San Isidro McDonald's massacre. Perpetrator was 41-year-old James Hubertsley. Shot and killed 21 people and injured 19 others before being fatally shot by a SWAT sniper. Shooting was ranked as the deadliest mass shooting in the United States until the 1991 Luby shooting. Prior to incident... Okay, so this one... Okay, so this guy at the McDonald's shooting had 3 weapons. It was a 9mm Browning HP semi-automatic pistol. He had a 9mm Uzi carbine, a Winchester 1200 shotgun, 12-gauge pump-action shotgun in a cloth bag filled with hundreds of rounds of ammunition for each weapon. A total of 50 customers were inside of the place at the time. Okay, so the Luby shooting was what I was talking about. Okay, so 24 were killed at the Luby's cafeteria. And by the way, I'll get to the game in a second. Like, I know you guys are probably getting tired of me talking about shootings and stuff like that. I know it's depressing. Okay, so this is what happened at the Luby shooting. On October 16th, 1991, 35-year-old George Hernard, an unemployed man who had been in the Merchant Marine, drove a Ford Ranger pickup truck through the plate glass front window of the Luby's cafeteria in Killeen, Texas. And this is actually south of where I actually live. He yelled, "All women of Killeen and Belton are vipers. This is what you've done to me and my family. This is what Bell County did to me. This is my payback day." He then opened fire on the patrons and the staff of both, with both a 9mm Glock 17 and a 9mm Ruger P89 pistol. He stalked, shot, and killed 23 people. That's more than who died at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, which in Marjory Stoneman Douglas, that killed about 19 people. This one, he killed 24 people with a pistol. Okay, so 10 of them with single shots to the head and wounded another 27. It was National Bosses Day and the cafeteria was unusually crowded with around 150 people. At first, bystanders thought the crash was an accident, but Hernard started shooting patrons almost immediately. First victim was a veterinarian, Michael Griffith. Another patron, Tommy Vane, threw himself through a rear window, sustaining injuries, but he created an escape route for himself and others. And he reloaded at least 3 times before police arrived and had a brief shootout with them. Wounded, he retreated to the bathroom. Police repeatedly told him to surrender, saying that he was going to kill more people. Minutes later, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. So, the fact is that, like, you can literally kill the same amount of people or even more with, yeah, I mean, like, it's a way to go out. And some of these kids that really, like, get pissed off at, like, teachers or kids that bully them or something like that. And then now you got people that are literally saying, like, well, don't blame bullies because that's victim blaming. So, it's just, there should be a law saying the name of the perpetrator shouldn't be published until the case is closed in court. Well, I mean, okay, that kind of infringes on the rights of, for one, that infringes on the right of, that basically violates the First Amendment, by the way. That violates freedom of the press, that violates freedom of speech, and yeah, that actually violates the Constitution of the United States, so that would be a bad idea. And plus, wow, 1,000 dead from an earthquake in El Salvador. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the game. Kazakhstan is actually a really interesting country. Let's get right into the news. Let's see what kind of laws we can change. Declare a state of emergency. Governments declare a state of emergency when immediate danger is caused by a serious disturbance to public order. Police powers are considerably increased during a state of emergency, and they have sometimes infringed laws designed to protect the fundamental liberties of the citizens. Police do not allow strikes during states of emergency because of the danger of increased disturbances. I actually never took advantage of state of emergency or even martial law while playing as the Islamic Republic. Pass a Borat law? What the hell is a Borat law? Deforestation tax, industrial pollution tax. Okay, could harm the spread of cultivations and thus could hold back economic growth. Call your space program the Borat program. Ooh, spooky. Tax on gambling, lottery, racing, and casino industries. Vehicle registration tax, including the name and the address of the owner and an authorization number. I know the United States has actually like $200 registration tax. They actually need to get rid of that because it's kind of retarded. Change the level of tax investigation. I think that actually might start to help inflation. Yeah, it's actually helping inflation. So you actually want gap between the rich and the poor. All studies showed it. Gap between the rich and the poor continues to grow. This is particularly true in terms of taxation. Tax on low incomes is too high in its proportion in relation to the income of the higher brackets. It should be taxed on a higher rate based on the salaries they receive. It is easy to legislate in this area and restore a bit of social justice in the country. All I can do now is to hope that you have been listening to me. See you soon. I actually have already increased the tax on the rich by 5%. The low could decrease that. I actually just because like it's stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of complicated. Dang, my internet's acting weird. Alright, so let's go here. 42, 4,500. Let's go ahead and do that. Thinking of what to do. Let's go ahead and go to the next month. Okay, February 2nd, there's a sit-in. Welfare dependency, oh, whatever. Why does Rwanda always want to meet with, yeah, go ahead. Cement, complicated calculations. See, that's why.
The bill has
Gold Star, ICT. Wow, ICTs are actually really good. Wow, we actually have a less than 1% excess. Look at our credit ratings. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call this one in for today. I'm going to go ahead and head out. But guys, if you like this episode, go ahead, or actually, if you like this live stream, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. And I'm going to actually call this Kazakhstan. call this the Kazakhstan live stream. For some reason, I don't know how to spell Kazakhstan. Whatever. And wait until those are saved. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.